playing Caitlyn right now.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to let Forgiven have Caitlyn for the entire series. Similar things could be said for Ruler's Jhin, though, as it's been extremely potent for Samsung as well.
Another thing we got to track here is Syndra. Samsung has banned it the last 7 games. They've, funny enough, also won the last 7 games. But no matter what side they were on, they banned away that Syndra pick. We know Rio likes to play it. Crown does play it a lot in solo queue, so he should be able to pull it out. So far, it's not banned.
So far, also, if you follow the bans here, H2K, whenever you see a Poppy ban, first thing that does jump to mind is the Jace pick, especially for Odoamne, who was such a great pilot of the champion in their previous series, but Samsung immediately answer with the Jace ban right there, so not going to be the option.
And we almost know Nidalee is going to be removed as well when you're on purple side against a strong Nidalee jungler. They're saving it again. I wonder if they want to see if Samsung wants to ban it on blue side, or H2K has something special prepared for the first game where they're fine giving away such a power pick for 2 strong picks in their rotation. And Crown, you disappoint me.
Well, no surprises just yet in terms of the Syndra Jace Caitlyn. One last ban for H2K, running the clock down on every single pick, but no curveballs yet.
Well, yeah, and the other thing that people might be thinking we're overlooking here is the Aurelion Soul, but both of these teams have not prioritized it very highly, so we don't expect them to. Yes, the mid laners could play the champion, but I don't expect it to be a high priority. Meanwhile, the Rise was very strong from both of them, and that gives over that Nidalee. That is so big if you can get strong lanes especially, though. And H2K probably have faith in their laners to be able to collapse and protect the jungle.
And I wonder if Jankos wants to play Lee Sin against it. It's something European junglers have done in the past. You get to level 6 on Lee Sin, get double longsword, and you try and just duel the Nidalee and kind of burst her down very, very quickly. So it is a matchup. He's obviously played a lot, but it's so risky giving away the S-tier jungler to also a jungler like Ambition, who's been playing really well so far in this tournament.
Especially, yeah, I mean, Ambition's been playing the game since 2012, and he even played mid lane Nidalee. This guy definitely has the experience on the champion.
Yeah, Backo Zubu plays. I actually had the pleasure of casting him here in New York 4 years ago when they swept the world. This time around, Ambition will be leading the way on that jungle champion. And we need to see what Pro decides to do throughout the course of this series. The other picks that have risen to popularity, Zyra and Olaf. Now the question, gentlemen, will Misfortune be played by CoreJJ? Because Reddit taught me that solo queue, both of these guys are playing it.
Yeah, and also we know Samsung has been scrimming against the Rocks Tiger, so obviously they have seen the pick in these scrims here. It was something that was played in Korean solo queue as well, even before World started. So he should have it. The Ashe is another one. Ruler has been spamming Ashe the last day, basically. The last 7 games, he's played 5 of them on Ashe.
We very well could see that same Ashe and Misfortune lane. I mean, CoreJJ was also an AD carry previously, playing in North America as well.
Well, Madison Square Garden definitely wants to see it. There was rumbles of MF throughout the crowd.
There it is!
And the thing about MF...
It's done! It's done!
It's so good against Zyra because it's so easy to dodge Zyra's damage in the lane phase due to the extra movement speed that she also brings and the range on Make It Rain.
And Zyra does not offer any sort of sustain. There's no shielding, there's no healing, so you just keep getting poked down ever so slightly, and then when you're low enough, well, you get all in by an Ashe arrow and an MF ulti, and then you die. H2K knew about this pick. The entire world knows about this pick now, so they can't be surprised.
Here's one thing that is popping out to me, though. Previously, Samsung, trend I've seen in all their team comps, they love having at least one tank. And Poppy is banned from the top lane. They do not have a tank in the jungle. They do not have a tank at support. Is this going to be a look from Samsung where they don't run with that solid front line, because they have relied on strong 5-on-5 late game, and if you lose a tank from your team comp, it makes it really hard to face check brush. That being said, they do have the Ashe, though, for the hawk shot.
Yeah, they do have some sort of way to engage angered vision, but there is still picks like Ekko up at top, and there is not. None of them are great matchups against Kennen, though, so I really like this Kennen pick. When you have Jace being removed, who's the best pick against Kennen, there's really no hard lanes for him to play. So this puts Odoamne in a pretty good situation. Let's see if they're more surprised.
I would love to see a Kled.
We've seen very little Kled so far.
I'm not believing it just yet. Not believing it just yet.
It's gotta be probably the Ekko.
Let's get back to what was actually drafted then, because we didn't talk about the Sivir. Sivir's speed boost is so important for both Olaf and Kennen to be able to engage on this back line. We talked about how many ranged champions Samsung have. They have a very squishy back line. If the extra speed can allow Kennen, to dodge into the back line and get there with the Proto Belt Flash plus the Olaf follow-up, then that could be the hard engage that H2K are banking on.
And I wouldn't mind seeing something like Orianna coming in here last from Rio. He's a guy who can play so many different picks. There's still things like Malzahar as well if he wants that. Aurelion Sol, if he wants to surprise us and have something that can actually roam and impact the side lanes. Orianna was a matchup we saw yesterday, though. Faker won that matchup every time. Got a lot of pressure in lane. Could roam first. And that is something H2K needs right now because they're not going to win this bot lane easily.
Well, how about some crazy picks? We were discussing off air whether or not a last pick Kassadin is something that an EU mid laner could pull out. I don't think it's going to be the case here, but a customary hobber for Ryu Z. 10 seconds left on the clock.
It's not time yet.
No, not yet.
He's got to make it to the finals to face Faker before he pulls that one out.
Going to be the Cassiopeia, so movement speed from Sivir's going to help out, but not the longest of ranges. A little surprising to me.
Definitely a daring pick there, versus Crown's Viktor, who has been, his most prolific champion, very, very strong. And he's also been able to ward off ganks very effectively, even getting return kills in like 2v1 scenarios. So definitely Samsung do have the confidence in that pick for him, even though the tank that they did end up picking, Ekko, is one of those unreliable tanks that's a little bit harder to peel for the rest of the champions. Crown's gravity field have been very, very strong.
Yeah, they have enough CC coming from something like Ashe as well to kind of keep people away. Ashe can kind of peel for herself, but yeah, a little bit different pick a man face in some way, I guess. Getting a Viktor for Crown always makes it very stable, though. Yeah. That's his most played champion, obviously. We see it almost every game when it is available. I think H2K, though, will have a strong top side of the map. Kennen up there is going to be good. You can definitely duel early as an Olaf, and Cassiopeia will be fine in the mid lane. So I'm expecting to see them focus on that side, but they have to look out for that level 6 bot lane with Ashe MF, because otherwise Vander is going to die.
Yeah, we have seen that multiple times before with the Ashe MF lineup.
It worked yesterday against SKT. If it's good enough for SKT, I'm sure it's good enough for H2K. We're going to find out how these two teams perform and whether or not allowing that Viktor through instead banning the Rise was the right decision. You guys jump onto Twitter, let us know. Put your voices and your hands together if you think hashtag SSG will win, or if you think the last Western team will be able to shut down support MF with hashtag H2K win. This is what is on the line. A shot at the Summoners Cup. A shot at the undoubtable strongest team League of Legends has ever seen in SKT, and one of these two will go up against them. It's a semi-final from Madison Square Garden. Samsung Galaxy taking on H2K.
And I'm glad to see MF again. We knew more teams have been playing it. So far, undefeated at Worlds, 100% win rate, 2-0. They're banned in 2 games as well in the semi-final.
Oh, a lot of action here!
Okay, well, there we go. This is going to be problems. Ambition is low! Okay, H2, what was that? They've killed Ambition!
So space check, bottom lane!
Both teams did exactly the same. They wanted to send the junglers with the dual lanes down to that lane and hide in the bush. Probably was Ambition was the guy who face-checked, and that's why he died.
The observers almost even weren't ready for this. We have to replay because it happened so early.
No, the ward got placed on him, and he ignored the ward and walked into the bush. He saw the ward being placed right at his feet.
Let that be a lesson to you. Don't drop a ward on Ambition or he'll face-check you.
Don't first pick that Nidalee. H2K knew.
It's not the Nidalee's fault. I'm gonna go with it's not the pick fault right there.
What?
That's definitely the pilot.
All right, so we're off to a crazy start here in the semi-final. Longsword picked up for Forgiven. That's gonna help make this lane just a little more sustainable.
Yeah, that is huge for H2K and fits our story. H2K being so strong early game. Yay, already have a goal lead in this game. Our storyline is legit.
Predicted.
But H2K, it is huge for them getting that first blood. Small item advantage bot lane. Everything H2K can get will help them because it is a super tough lane. Ashe and MF.
The thing is, it's actually so rare to get one of those kills early enough to recall and to return to the lane with that longsword. So he actually has that combat power for the lane phase. See here, Ryu, though, going toe-to-toe.
Trading back and forth with those twin fangs. CoreJJ, no flash, so if he continues to play aggressively, there may be an opportunity for Jankos to come in. There we go. Make it rain, and a couple of autos from CoreJJ zoning for giving away.
That's always what happens when you see these level 1s and someone has to use a summoner. The game plan can change for the team. Jankos will need to get that blue buff, get back some mana, and is actually healthy enough to gank. Ghost is ready very soon for him as well if he wants to go for something. But Samsung should know they've already placed a few walls on bottom side. Jankos might have to take the long route around the Dragon Pit. That's actually what he's doing at the moment. He's not spotted so far.
Yeah, he definitely is going for the bottom lane since he passed up the Scuttle Crab. Normally, we definitely see him take that early, and he's got the route into the bottom lane.
Ghost is going to come up shortly. Samsung Galaxy, they're in trouble. The flash route from Vander. CoreJJ's the target. Game over. Jankos gets a kill.
So smart. I love talking about these layers of mind games in the early game where you only have few trinket wards to rely upon. No flash. Oh, never mind. We got more action.
Ryu's in so much trouble. Pounce is flashed away from, but Ambition gets one back. Scuttle Crab is going to be the focus. There may be a contest. Javelin toss comes out. Ambition's gone into CuVee.
Oh,
smite it away.
Oh.
Throws the flag. Now, gentlemen, despite the kill back, H2K are 8-0 when securing first blood. Is it too early to throw that out there?
Slightly too early.
Slightly too early. We're watching Ambition's revenge right now as he goes and takes the solo kill and then the Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, and some really bad things actually happened for H2K there. Ryu, we saw that one. Ryu ended up using both summoners, but he didn't flash the spear. He took it straight in the face, used both summoners after, and still died. And also Vander had to flash in the bottom lane to set up that kill on MF. They didn't want to risk Nidalee showing up for counter gank, and now Ryu has the summoner.
Ryu's dead, no doubts about it. There we go. Number 1, you gave crown Viktor. Number 2, you stepped on his gravity field.
And Ambition on point with the flares as well. After that early first blood, he's got something to prove. Even with the miss a spear on the Scuttle Crab, you're kind of wondering, is Ambition's Revenge a horror movie or a comedy? He comes back, gets another kill under Ryu after burning those summoners.
If you have to miss a spear, do it under Rift Scott.
Yeah,
don't do it on Ryu. He's been able to hit Ryu twice now. Obviously, Ryu was stunned here, had no summoners. So everything that went so well in the bottom lane is kind of gone now for H2K because Ryu misplayed so badly in the mid lane, and Ambition been able to pick up 2 kills, and that is huge. Mid control for Samsung with Nidalee as a jungler.
Nidalee is going to provide so much for this Samsung squad. Also, he still has flash as well, so adding extra kill pressure there, now level 6. But let's kind of return to the bottom lane because so much action happened and it was kind of funny, but the setup from H2K was so smart. They know that Samsung are going to be expecting that early gank down bottom and probably place that river ward. So Jankos does go into the enemy jungle, bypasses everything, and makes a beeline for the summoner-less MF. There he comes back for a return gank.
Vision snuck in, hasn't been spotted. Samsung aren't overextending. Jankos is
shot the other way.
Jankos is still sticking around. Roots not going to find CoreJJ. Now remember, longer this sticks around, the more Jankos is losing out on.
Ghost is coming up too.
Oh, CoreJJ, insta-flash, another undertow. Jankos is looking for more. Vander's going low. The Unforgiven goes down, no summoner heal. They've traded 1 for 1. Jankos is looking for Ruler. Ruler's still got a flash available. Here comes Ambition. Sidestep for the Javelin toss. Undertow comes out. Ambition, he fancies this. Javelin toss, body block by Jankos. Boomerang tags on both directions. Jankos throws down the vicious strikes and reckless swing. Ambition's not done.
Yeah, the reason they couldn't 100% turn on Ambition there is because he still has flash. They're respecting the execute that could happen on Forgiven, so they back off here and they don't take the 2v1.
Everyone gets to back away now from the H2K side. Jankos back in the jungle. Also, we have Forgiven back in base. Let's see it again. So Jankos throws the axe on CoreJJ pretty far away from himself, has to pick it up, and they do get the kill, but Vander ends up actually overextending. And then it's only Jankos against Ruler here in the end. Forgiven too low to do anything, but I like the jungle pathing from Jankos early. First gank bot lane, then he sneaks in as well. We saw the hawk shot go the opposite way from Ruler, not finding anything. Therefore, they didn't know if Olaf was waiting or not.
Well, no flash once again for CoreJJ. Jankos spending so much time in this bottom lane. We've not really seen Ryu farming away mid, down 2 waves worth of CS. Odoamne, however, has picked up the same amount over CuVee. So Ryu struggling with those no summoners and being bullied by Crown's Viktor.
Yeah, we haven't really had the action up top side, even though Kennen is going to be so crucial to this team comp for H2K. It's going to be so much about, can Odoamne, get to that squishy backline and avoid all the gravity field, the parallel convergence. But that's going to be way down the line, as we've got a lot of early action in this one. And with all that early action, we're only 100 gold apart.
But it shows what kind of game we're going to get here.
Oh, yeah.
Samsung can actually battle with H2K in the early game. They can match them. That's been one of the great things about this Samsung team, how these individual players have really stepped up. If you look at the Gauntlet and you look at Worlds, they've been able to match some of the absolute best players in the world in the laning phase. They rarely fall behind, and they can skirmish, they can team fight. If they get an advantage early on and get to late game, we know they're a massive powerhouse. For now, though, we're still early on. H2K and Samsung dead even.
Yeah, and Ambition is still on a warpath. Goes and steals away the blue there from H2K, which is pretty big, considering Ryu's getting bullied out of mid lane.
I'll take a look at that. Just being pushed away by Crown once again. Jankos going to run toe-to-toe with Ambition, decides he doesn't want to fight just yet. Turns around, hits him with the meat, throws out another undertow. Flash still up for Ambition. Support's not come in from CoreJJ. Jankos doesn't even need to sidestep that one. Actually hits so many of those undertows already.
It's just insane how this game is all about bot lane right now. After those kills we had early on, summoners being blown, no flash from CoreJJ at the moment.
It's because of the evolution of the bot lane meta here at Worlds, right? We're just adding more and more damage, highest damage supports that you can bring to the bottom lane, and then summoners being down on those vulnerable supports really does attract a lot of attention. Meanwhile, top lane, they're still trading.
Yeah, we're gonna see Odoamne winning this matchup for a few minutes still, until we get more MR on the Ekko, and he can actually start surviving and just constant wave clear. At some point later on, Ekko will be able to even jump on the Kennen and barely take any damage. But early on, Odoamne will be fine. The problem for H2K is they're not able to snowball it more. They're not able to get a big advantage top because Jankos is spending all his time in the bottom lane.
We'll find out if they can open that advantage. In 10 of Odoamne's 11 games at Worlds, he's led in CSD at 10 minutes. So definitely someone going to rely on if he can flank with that Kennen.
And exactly, that's a great point to bring up, because unlike Jace, where he was all about pushing down turrets and that 1v1, Kennen brings so much power to the team fight phase. When we transition down to that dragon area, and we start to see more people join. Here we go, Jankos though up top with the Raptor buff, by the way, so he knows there's no ward.
Flashes are available, insta-stun, CuVee not gonna survive, not gonna chrono break. H2K get another.
And CuVee is sitting with his Trinket Ward available, but he didn't place it. Wants you to just clear one more wave and probably just go back to base, return to lane, and then start putting up vision. Jankos found an opening, just had that pink ward, so he knew there was no ward there. And goes in, gets an easy kill. And that's exactly what we talked about before. H2K wanting to snowball this top lane, and they got the kill.
Yeah, but at what cost, gentlemen? Ambition's going to be soloing the dragon. CuVee started his teleport. You can see it on the minimap. Tower is under pressure. CuVee's actually going to commit to this one. A little bit of damage from Jankos onto Odo, and I don't think they're going to get Tower first blood.
Yeah, that is crucial, because trading. Oh, here we go though. A little bit more of a trade, but trading dragon, for first turret gold would actually be pretty good for H2K, considering they also got the kill. Remember, now the big difference is going to be this teleport.
Oh, flash away! Vander gets out of the enchanted crystal arrow, but that's the combo that Samsung Galaxy were looking for. Waiting for the rinse and repeat. Javelin toss won't find a target. Ambition's just going to pounce away to safety, but now Vander's going to play so careful.
Always important to see very quick cross-map reactions. Or if you're doing something top lane, we will do something down the bottom lane, dragon over to Samsung, and then also forcing that flash. So next time Ruler has his ulti, Vander will die.
Plus, it's important to look at, the mini objectives that we have in League of Legends. Before going for that dragon, Ambition did the homework of putting down wards in the blue quadrant jungle of H2K. Now it's so much easier and safer for Samsung to go replace those wards and retain control around this area for consecutive dragons and consecutive plays around bottom lane.
He's still down here in the bottom lane, but so is Jankos. Now it's very easy for H2K to kind of read the play. We have no flash in our support. Enemy junglers warded up our bot side jungle. There's a high chance he's still around. And that's why Jankos has been pathing straight from base all the way down here for a potential counter gank. These wards will expire though. It will just be a river control for Samsung, and we're waiting for that Ashe ultimate.
Well, before we get to that, CuVee once again get a jump on Odo. Slicing Maelstrom is available, a bunch of minions to help out, and Odo backs away, but still getting collapsed on every time CuVee can. Doesn't look like it's over just yet. Phase Dive is off cooldown, as is Time Winder. There we go, tagging both. And Odo forced to run away.
Yeah, we can see it gets harder and harder for Odoamne to take these trades because the MR is just going to keep racking up on this Ekko here, and he can keep jumping and trading over and over.
And what we really need to look for are wards placed to give Odoamne an opportunity to use this teleport advantage. You know, CuVee had to use his to get back to lane and protect that first turret gold. That means that Odoamne has the potential for a pretty big play, considering the power that he will be at once he hits level 11 will be huge, especially on bottom lane.
And you guys just saw a hawk shot flying right behind Jankos. Basically, Ruler is able to scout 3 camps on top side to see where exactly is the jungler. Is there any camps down so we can kind of figure out his path if he's not there already. They did see him on the red buff, so they know he's top side. This should be enough information for CuVee to not play too aggressive, and you can see on your minimap, he's backing away.
I do expect the first turret gold to spark the next big fight. You know, top line, H2K has the top turret down pretty low, and bottom side, Samsung have done a lot of work whittling down that turret. Be careful about getting baited in for that first turret gold. It is a huge objective, but they don't have the teleport from top side for Samsung.
Not just yet. CuVee jumps back into lane with that chrono break. Ambition looking to once again get in there and just clear this buff out. I mean, it belongs to Samsung. That's what, 3 in a row now? CuVee's in trouble. Remember, no chrono break. Jankos just threatening pressure because of that juicy tower.
As long as H2K can get this top tower down, then they're okay surrendering the bottom side. Yes, it sucks for Forgiven. He's on a utility-focused champion, though, and he can just buff up the rest of his team.
They're going to lose the race, though. They haven't done it quick enough.
Not at all. So, tower first blood secured by Samsung Galaxy. They temporarily hold a gold lead. It is now 1,500 gold. Gentlemen, we're about to hit the 15-minute mark. That is about when... Ooh, hold that thought. Enchanted Crystal Arrow flying. Ryu sidesteps, stuns up Ambition. Uses the Ghost to slither to safety.
That's the kind of play we want to see under pressure from Ryu. Not the ones we saw earlier where he gets the spear in the face, flashes after, still dies. Good reaction here with the Ghost. And the problem for H2K was simply they couldn't get enough damage on tower without the jungler being there. Bottom lane, Samsung's dual lane got enough damage on tower alone, and then Ambition joined to finish the tower.
To finish off that thought, between 15 and 25 minutes is where Samsung Galaxy have finished a lot of their games in recent weeks. H2K now need to show that they can compete in the mid-game. Pressure onto Ryu, support from Jankos. That Javelin didn't find its target, and it looks like the wave is going to be the primary focus yet, so try to push Samsung away.
Yeah, some very good dodges here from Ryu to be able to stay in lane and collect some extra gold. He had a pretty rough laning phase considering the extra ganks that Ambition sent towards the mid lane and burning his summoner so often, so he has been able to scrape by here, but we're transitioning to that very critical point pretty soon where it is going to be more about the flanks. There's the level 11 on the top laners.
And I really like Samsung's mid-game. You know, when you get the full Hex core on Viktor, he can easily sit and wave clear forever, has enough damage to be a threat. Ashe gets her first item, the Essence Reaver, and can start firing ultis away. And that's where you can create a lot of picks if you're Samsung. And H2K, they have to be able to react instantly and take the fight.
Right. H2K gonna have to react here. Crown gets rooted up. Vander's now the target, flashes away from the Crystal Arrow. He didn't get punished last time that it happened, but it feels like this will be different.
Yeah, those are pretty big summoner clone here. Not Forgiven, actually. The targets.
Well, not going to blow any of his summoners. Odo's come to reply. Didn't use his teleport, though. Just came straight from base with that Protobuff.
Remember, with the importance of this fight, you know, coming up on the next dragon, the wards place. You have to keep track of both the defensive and offensive vision.
Ooh, Forgiven. Really holding his nerve. Not using that flash or heal just yet. But the tower stands. H2K somehow hold off. They're still trailing in gold. They're trailing in pressure by a very large margin. And a lot of that has to do with the impact that Ambition has had in allowing their lanes to survive.
Yeah, obviously H2K gave away that Nidalee. We knew it was going to be first picked if it was open. Ambition has had a fine game so far on it. It's actually done his job. Gank around mid side, put a lot of pressure on side lanes, just throwing spears over the wall, trying to force them off these turrets here. And Samsung are in a perfect position, honestly, for them. They're going to have super strong side lanes soon. They're going to be good in team fights as well, and they can create picks with the Ashe.
Yeah, and even, you know, giving over that Nidalee, Jankos has had a pretty good Olaf game. He can't keep up in farm with the Nidalee, and Ambition is 2 levels ahead of him now, but he did have a lot of early game proactive plays to get them some sort of advantage. Here goes CuVee.
Chrono Break and Flash is available. Odo's already proto belted forward. Parallel Convergence buys some time. Exhaust onto CuVee. He's going to keep alive for a few seconds longer. There goes the Flash. The dash. Not going to find the stun. And Odo gets the kill again at the cost of a dragon.
Yeah, H2K trading another kill here for another Mountain Drake over to Samsung, and it's so scary when one team starts stacking Mountains or Infernals. They have so much value in the mid to late game. H2K will try and push down the top side and get a bit of damage on tower, but they also need to defend mid. They're doing it.
Wave clear is pretty good. Forgiven's at least going to spell shield. Frost shot coming out of Rulez. Take a look through the middle. Once again, Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Super optimistic. Ruler ain't no prey today. Not finding the targets that we saw from yesterday. However, H2K still trailing, still in trouble. We're getting closer to 20 minutes. And earlier, I had said that H2K were 8-0 when they got first blood. This is also the first time they've been trailing in gold in 20 minutes. So maybe I'll take back that statement. I think it's...
I mean, the statement is still correct. It just doesn't mean they will win.
Okay. It was a loaded story I was going for.
Ah, we didn't get the wink on camera there. All right, let's see if Samsung can do anything with this vision control. H2K have done a pretty good job of, you know, not venturing too deep into those areas that Samsung very visibly have control of.
Yeah, we're kind of waiting for Odoamne to have a deep ward he can TP to, and he can join in the mid lane when you have Samsung sieging on these turrets here, because that mid tower is where Samsung's putting all their attention right now. Blue buff is going to be the quick objective for them, and Rio really wants it, sadly for him. He doesn't have Smite.
Ambition, so that's a steal. Next dragon's going to be Ocean, and even though there's a root in Ambition, Vander, still no flash available. He's got to be very careful.
And there is a ward now from H2K down here. It's being pinged on the minimap, guys, just behind the enemy blue buff, and that is the location probably for Odoamne, but it's a few seconds left on it only, so he has to go fast.
He has to go fast, and Ruler's going to look for Vander. Vander's caught between a rock and a hard place, and he's down. Here comes Jankos. He's throwing down the Righteous Glory, looking for ground. Traded 1-for-1. The Proto Belt forward. Forgiven's on the board. CoreJJ's dead. It's a 1-for-3.
The engage we spent so long setting up for this team with that Kennen getting to the squishy backline.
He gets him. Ambition shuts down Forgiven, but now he's going to get poisoned to death. The undertow comes out. Jankos is looking for more. Shuts him down. 2-for-4.
Honestly, perfect timing for H2K. They knew Samsung were pushing for that mid tower. They knew it was just a matter of time before the engage happened, and Odoamne had just a few seconds left on that ward. He pulled the trigger. They managed to get the engage, and they get a tower as well.
The problem is they lost the top tower at the same time. They still trail by 1,000 gold, but crucially, Odo, Jankos, and Forgiven, they've got the kills, they've got the gold, and here's a replay of how it happened.
Let's take another look, because we mentioned the ward, you're going to have to keep track of him. Vander stepping up because they knew they were going for the engage, and it didn't even matter that he got 100% in here, because Odoamne is in the back, so you know there's no escape. He actually maybe didn't even need to flash there, because Jankos and Forgiven were cleaning up with the extra speed.
Sadly, what happens very often if you're under so much pressure and you're forced to pull off a great engage to kind of stop the push from happening, your objectives are already taking a lot of damage, and mid tower goes down very quickly here.
And look at that damage after the fact, the team fight. 450 from Kennen. Wow, you know, that it was a great opportunity for them. Might have used a bit too much in that, as both Jankos, Forgiven, and Ryu had already cleaned up most of the kills.
Vander with the classic support move, though. Use everything on me. I don't need to do anything. And then write Worth in all chat right after.
Two big sacrifice.
I mean, the big thing there, Jankos turning it around. Ghost and Righteous Glory. He's going to get to Ruler or CoreJJ extremely quickly. And as it stands, he's got enough damage to cause all sorts of problems for that backline of Samsung Galaxy.
He definitely is one of the stars of H2K. 4-0 and 5 now on the Olaf. And he's catching up in levels to Ambition as well.
But as you've seen historically, Samsung Galaxy taking control, taking the lead in the mid game. They maintain a gold advantage. They maintain control of the lanes. However, they cannot afford to get jumped on again like that by H2K.
No, and now where we don't have a teleport on Odoamne, everything will kind of slow down a little bit for H2K because it's hard for them to get a proper engage. It's kind of just Jankos popping everything and running at Samsung to start the fight. He's trying it right now.
To be fair, it's a lot. For CoreJJ, no flash available, can't get rooted by the gravity field. Forgiving gets the kill with the boomerang.
I guess that works.
Jankos gets another. The rest of Samsung are trying to group up, but they get themselves two.
Classic Deficio, set him up. But H2K, they learned from the last team fight, hey, we don't even really need that Kennen flank, right? We took care of it ourselves. So they do it again. And man, they just pull the trigger there. Both speed boosts popped, and they take care of business so quickly.
And he has 100% kill participation on this Olaf here.
He's racking it.
He's literally just walking straight at Samsung, killing them. Baron is alive. They might actually start it. Vander isn't here. CuVee is bot lane with TP, so it is still very, very risky this early on. No one can be taken. Oh, yes.
The target is Ambition, looking to run him down. He's pounced away, gets out of range from the Noxious Blast. Odo, is he going to commit an ultimate to it? Yes, he will. That's two already used. They get themselves another kill. The crowd goes wild. Jankos still at 100%. CuVee teleported for this. Why did you teleport for that? He chrono break back.
Straight onto the tower now.
He's us all.
Oh, he's going to get a push on the turret for it, though.
But at what cost? Can H2K go for a Baron? They got to teleport. They've got to back away.
Yeah, they're too low. There's a Viktor, there's an Ashe, MF as well. Too much damage on the side of Samsung, really. Tower will take a bit of damage. Not a lot of minions here. CuVee will soon have to back away. Odoamne is here just to kick him out the door.
I'm glad we've had such an action-packed game here, though. You know, following up yesterday's excitement, definitely delivering here in Game 1.
And how good is H2K's late game? Let's find out. So this is
Look at this crazy man.
All the way back to the point that made Deficio wrong.
No, actually not. Because we did just mention how Olaf could pop everything like he did, Trevor. What a beast, man. Jankos is on fire.
I'm really... Okay, so let's reset once again, because there's been so much action. We need to focus on wards again. Wards, people, not the kills, because they're setting up for another dragon here. And the dragon area is fairly dark for both teams. H2K, first to the site, though. They should be able to clean it up in time.
H2K likes to get a free dragon here. Book is spotted by the hawkshot, doesn't really matter. Everyone trying to get the Rift Scuttler after. But really, we're in this situation where if Samsung can actually just set up the map and not fight, they're really, really strong side lanes because Viktor's going to beat the Cassiopeia. Ekko is now strong enough to really duel the Kennen as well. The problem for Samsung is when they tried to set up the side lanes, Jankos kind of clicked every single button on his keyboard and just kind of ran at two guys and killed them.
And it's so difficult to clear out vision on all sides. When all the outer turrets are down for both teams, okay, there's one left for Samsung there, but most of the outer turrets are down. It's so difficult right now to have complete security of vision coverage, to have the security that you know all of your flanks are warded. And Samsung would have to have that because Odoamne, not only does he have teleport, he has the flash and proto belt available, and he's working on that Zhonya's as well. Soon to follow, that will allow him to make even more aggressive dives.
Yeah, that's actually one thing I really like about Kennen versus something like Ashe, like a Viktor as well, where when they put down some of their CC or zone control, if you don't have a dash, it's hard to get to them. But when you have dash and proto belt, flash and proto belt, you can always get there and you can always engage. Super, super effective from Odoamne, but he needs that deep ward you talked about, Kobe. He doesn't have it right now, and H2K are trying to set up for Baron.
And H2K have to show even more progression. Throughout Worlds, they've stepped up to be the team that a lot of people expected them to be for a long time, but now they've got their toughest test. The most difficult team they've competed against, and they have to win in the mid to late game when the setting is even.
Definitely gonna be tough order. I'm actually using everything here.
He is indeed. CuVee still got that chrono break. No, he's used it actually. Odo throws out the shuriken, a dash over the wall. The stun still finds its target. Ashe arrow comes out, not gonna find Odo. There is some support coming from the rest of H2K, but I don't think they're gonna cut him off.
But that was pretty good from CuVee because he gets a Kennen ulti. That means H2K will have a much harder time team fighting. Jankos ghosted for that one ward. Doesn't get anything else. He really want to kill that ward.
I mean, he wanted to chase down CuVee, but CuVee too slippery there. I mean, CuVee, talk about this guy. He has been one of the bright spots for Samsung ever since the Gauntlet. I mean, this guy has stepped up huge. Even during the season, he's been very adaptable, you know, varying champions, has played the tanks, has also played a lot of the mages from the top side for Samsung. Right now, though, 0-2 on the Ekko, and looks like we talked about the variance between Kennen, what he's going to bring to a team fight, and the unreliable tank that Ekko is. It's difficult to have tank Ekko be your front line because parallel convergence so hard to, have that land on someone who's boosted up by Sivir speed and, Olaf with his extra ghost.
Ekko is definitely not main engage by any means. He's kind of the TP flank like Kennen. There's much less damage coming from the Ekko.
And what they're lacking is peel, really, not even engage, because right now the backline's just getting charged
Kobe,
down.
are you telling me MF ulti doesn't peel? Probably not when Jankos is this fed.
It's pretty shiny.
He's going to continue to trade here. Odo just gets his Slicing Maelstrom available. Used his Pro Belt and also has Hourglass. The rest of H2K, they're playing the Vision game up in the top half of the map.
Yeah, so H2K have been trying to get Vision around this Baron here. This pick ward from Samsung you just saw on the bottom of your screen is very important because it actually stops H2K from having a ward here that Odoamne can TP onto and then instantly flank in and engage. So it's a good placement. They all obviously learned from the last ward placement here, but H2K have not really been able to completely take over the river. Whenever they set up a few pings, they then step back into mid lane, they lose one or two of them like we see here, and then have to kind of reset. Jankos is trying to flank.
We'll find out if he can. Looking to run down Ambition and Ruler. Ruler's the target. Undertow. Throws down the Reckless Swing. Flash over from Ryu. He eats an Ashe arrow. But here comes Odoamne. He manages to get a kill onto Ruler. Goes golden with the Hourglass. Stranglethorns doesn't knock anybody out, but the Gravity Field does. Shutdown kill. Crown takes down Odo. The rest of H2K back away, and Samsung, they trade 1-for-1, and they get a tower.
They're still splitting here. CuVee over in the top side, able to push up all the way to the inhibitor turret now, and now H2K are forced with that decision. How do we get him off? Are they going to try and force something around Baron to bait out the teleport?
Look for the Nidalee spears from Ambition. They can do a lot of damage right now. They want CuVee to TP in there. He's coming now. Baron being started, going down fairly quickly from H2K side.
Samsung have to respond. Baron's still going low. Ambition connects. The flash over from Forgiven. They're looking for him. That's a kill. They've traded 1-for-1. Jankos running for his life. Ryu's cut down. And with CuVee chasing, you're never going to outrun an Ekko. Phase dive forward. Forgiven's getting chunked out. Time winder plus boomerang equals dead. Triple for CuVee.
These are those intelligent late game decisions we talked about from Samsung. They keep the pressure in the side lane and force H2K into that difficult spot of trying to bait out that teleport. Then they get caught in the pit, and Samsung do collect the kills.
This entire game, Samsung have maintained map control, it feels like. Every single player that H2K have made work has not netted in objectives. They've only got 2 towers, they've only got 1 dragon. In contrast, 4 towers, 2 dragons, and now they even defend a Baron while under man.
Yeah, so here they actually want to just back away as soon as TP happens and then take the fight and then try and get out of the river, get back to base, but they stay on Baron for too long. As soon as CuVee left that bot lane, H2K should have left the Baron. They got caught in there, Vander got caught outside of the Baron pit as well here and goes down. And that's really the problem for H2K. I think you highlighted it so well, Trevor. Whenever they invest so much for these big fights, only once have we seen them get a few kills and actually a tower. Often it's like 1 kill here, force a few summoners, and then it kind of stops. And then you invest the teleport from Odoamne that is so key to starting these fights, and you can't really do the same.
Now look at it this way. Instead of Samsung giving up a kill for Dragon, they get a kill onto Vander and allows him to secure that Infernal Drake. No contest. That's the 3rd of the game. And H2K down 6K, down in Dragons, and they've been down in map pressure for 30 minutes.
Yeah, Ruler was able to hit that arrow on the flashless Zyra. Right now, though, Odoamne looks to re-engage.
Oh, he's even going to run away with that Z-Drive Resonance. Slicing Maelstrom not going to find the stun, and CuVee, I think the quiet hero of Samsung Galaxy, he's had so much side lane pressure that H2K haven't been able to go further without losing things.
It's one of the things a lot of the Korean teams actually like Vander. Good sidestep this time around, but we've both seen Samsung and SKT do this. They pick these very scaling top laners. They can lose early game, fall down 20 CS, and it's not a problem because they will outscale whoever they're against in the 1v1 later on in the game. Very often become very tanky as well. We've seen the Poppy, we've seen the Trundle, we've seen the Ekko. And you just sit in that side lane almost the entire game long, and you just push, 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 and then you join for a potential team fight. And we've seen it quite a few times now, both CuVee and Duke.
And that is a risky strategy, because that puts so much pressure on the 4-man squad to disengage.
CoreJJ is running for his life, throws down the bullet time. He's already chunked out. H2K invested quite a few things there. A couple of ghosts on the hunt as well. But the primary damage dealers for Samsung are still up. Here comes CuVee. He jumps onto Jankos. Ragnarok is running. Righteous Glory's already been popped. Parallel Convergence doesn't find a target. And H2K, they managed to get away. But look at this again. They find a kill. There's no objective. Oh. Between the posts, Ruler doesn't find a target this time around.
And even though we criticize H2K for not finding more after the kill, it has actually stopped Samsung from really snowballing any further, because Samsung has had a goal lead for almost the entire game long. They've not been able to take a Baron. They have been getting good dragons, however, which is very key, and Samsung is in a perfect spot, honestly, for them. But they haven't really been able to run over H2K either, because they keep losing one member.
And we're into the area where Samsung were considered stronger than H2K. Looking at this game, looking at this series, the expectation was that if the game went mid to late, Samsung Galaxy were going to be even more favored to take the whole thing. And as you can see by these map plays and by the control, as Samsung have portrayed over the last sort of 12 minutes, with the dragons, and now even some vision around Baron, that's going to be the next target for them.
Exactly. I mean, this game, it's a lot of control right now for Samsung, but it just needs that one big teleport play for H2K to break it open. So, while yes, Samsung do have control, and it looks like if you go step by step and they can clear all the vision and keep that control, then they'll be able to march this one in. They still have to be very, very careful and watch out for those CP wards and the engages from H2K.
Odo actually used Proto Belt for that, cleared the wave out, got some good damage onto CuVee.
I think that's really, really important to highlight. Again, H2K can win a team fight at any point in the game. There are 4 squishy targets on Samsung against something like Kennen and Olaf. Both these two can get to their backline and take down 1 or 2 guys fairly easily. So Samsung will never hit a point where it's just an auto win in a team fight, but it gets easier and easier for them to fight when they get more defensive items in there.
And it's not like H2K are going to run out of damage either. They have a lot of scaling. Cassiopeia and Sivir are that's one of the 2 carry combos that's ideal in the late game. Both of those will be very, very strong as they take off. The Infinity Edge coming next for Forgiven, as there is not, you know, a pure armor stacking member on SSG that he really has to worry about.
It is very hard, though, for Cassiopeia in late game fights to deal enough DPS, because there's so many things that can kind of stop from getting too close. And if she's ever in range to start to Twin Fang, she often will die very, very quickly to something like Viktor, something like MF ulti, and that makes it difficult for Rio to actually be consistent DPS, and it's more the 2 guys who can dive the backline.
That's why this game is still so tense, because they are going to be running forward. H2K, you know, Cassiopeia is going to have this front line of a Kennen zone that he's going to try and follow in behind. You kind of try to follow in the wake of the Kennen, and that kind of provides you the offensive screen that you need to get in there. But it's very, very precarious to try and pull off a team fight that way.
And Samsung done a good job again, kind of denying all the deep vision from H2K. There's only 1 ward in the middle of the mid lane here. And now 1 placed by Vander. They could potentially be TP'd on by Odoamne. This one's going to die. Ambition is going to spot another one. Take that one out as well. And this kind of removes all the flanking options for Odoamne.
That's problematic, because H2K need to find a magical flank to claw this game back. Samsung has slowed the tempo down. 1 minute to Elder. Baron is already up, and you can see Ambition moving up to this top quadrant.
And let's look at it from Samsung's point of view here. They have the split push power, plus the pink wards on Baron. And remember, they got those 2 Earth Drakes very early. These are Double Mountain and Infernal for Samsung. They can threaten a Baron very, very quickly and even burn it down if it does come to that. So that's why the vision control is so big. And Ambition gets the red steal on top of all of it. Samsung have all the tools, the split push, plus the Baron control.
Even stealing with that red buff. Deficio, CuVee is just going to town on Odo. Still farming away, got that GA as well.
He's going to town on his tower, honestly. That's the one he's trying to poke down. And it's what we talked about with these scaling top lane picks. Late game, they're so annoying to deal with. H2K need to just find a way to engage by Jankos popping everything, and they need to have a ward in a position where Odoamne can TP to it. You can see how Samsung are not starting Baron, because they know that's the only way for them to really lose a big team fight. It's to group inside this Baron pit, get TP flanked by Odoamne, and then everyone just dies. So they keep playing the split pushing game, knowing that CuVee is so strong in the side lane.
And look how much they've been able to clean out the H2K vision. all of Samsung's side is spotless right now, and they're slowly working up towards this Baron area. Very dangerous.
And that means they can start it now, because they've made sure to clear every single ward. There's nothing behind them, and that Baron
Look how quick it's gone.
Second.
Double Mountain plus the Fire Drake. While all that's going on, CuVee's even opened up the base. He's solo secured the inhibitor tower. And there seems to be nothing H2K can do. Samsung are in their element in the late game.
Yeah, we see why everyone praises them for being such a smart late game team. They never took a chance around the Baron, waited for all the vision to be cleared, saw 2 members from H2K in their lanes, and then said, okay, now we can rush it down. No chance of a big team fight.
CuVee, by the way, used Chrono Break once again to get back into lane. Odo's the target. He's already used the Hourglass and running for his life.
Multiple points of pressure here for Samsung as well. That's why they're not collapsing on CuVee, because the Baroned up minions here on top side threatening to take the inhibitor turret.
Now, they're going to try to push away this wave down on the bottom. Again, CuVee's left alone. This game is effectively 4v4 and 1v1. And it's CuVee that's winning the whole thing. He Brits the inhibitor with the help of those Baron-empowered minions. Madison Square Garden is silenced by the calculated play of Samsung Galaxy. They are running circles around H2K on the map, and no matter what H2K tries, they don't have the vision, they don't have the wards, they don't have the flanks, and it doesn't look like they're going to have game 1. Ambition takes a lot of damage from Jankos, but Crown returns it twice as much.
Let's see Rio taking a lot of damage up here, trying to defend, and every single tower just dropping low. And Samsung really show why they're so good late game, and it's beautiful to watch. They're slow and steady.
Oh, flash away from Ambition. He was rooted up by Vander. Again, CuVee does not care about the rest of the team. He just wants to go where Odo is, sending a message. One of the primary carries on H2K. Running out of mana, but CuVee should still be able to make it out. There we go. That Ekko passive lets him run for days.
Definitely one of the more annoying passes.
Oh, look at that damage! Forgiven forced to flash away. Here comes Jankos. He can't flash over the wall. Very good gravity field. CuVee has teleported up. He's looking for Forgiven. The damage isn't there though. Summoner heal was used. CuVee's in trouble. Still got a GA. Odoamne's already dead. He didn't even get down the slicing maelstrom. Crown gets his 5th of the game. Shuts down Ryu. Turns his attention to the Nexus turrets. And Samsung Galaxy are destroying H2K. Samsung Galaxy secure the win and continue their winning streak at Worlds.
And this game really shows why Samsung are the favorites in this matchup here, because they're good enough to match the early game of H2K. And once they get that advantage, get past the laning phase, we see this really safe, calculated Samsung play towards the late game. So many teams would have rushed Baron way earlier with double Mountain Drake saying we can just burn it down, and there could have been a ward for Odoamne to TP on. A big fight could have happened, and H2K had a way back in the game. Samsung knew, wait, let the Ekko scale in the side lane, don't give them the big team fight, and we are going to be more than fine.
That's why I really love watching games where there are 2 very distinct team comps here, 2 styles that they're trying to play. And H2K had a couple of good engages. The tension was building, but Samsung just too good at avoiding and keeping up that cross-map pressure.
Yeah, if H2K wants to beat this Samsung team, they can't make some of the mistakes we saw in the early game. Ryu dying twice in mid lane because he messes up the flash very early. That cost him a lot and cost the team a lot as well. They didn't get a big enough advantage after getting first blood. And that allowed Samsung to just keep it even and then slowly but surely get further ahead.
If there is one thing to say, the first blood was so early, it wasn't even full allotment of gold. The lane matchup is still topsy-turvy with that MF. Samsung Galaxy now 8 games straight over the last few weeks. If they can withstand the H2K early game and H2K are unable to find mid-game plays, surely that means Samsung Galaxy are just going to run away with this series, because that was where the strength of H2K was. They had the advantage, but was it messy plays, bad plays that cost them?
The thing is that also, being on blue side changes up a lot in this, and I think that H2K will have a very different look coming into game number 2. So yeah, while Samsung had a very impressive close there to the game, I think there still is hope for H2K.
We'll have to find out. Hold that thought, Deficio. We're going to find out what the analyst desk has to say about game number 1.